everybody.
2025. How y'all doing in 2025? Good to see y'all.
Yes, hello, everybody. I'm Katie. This is Steven. I'm sure you're familiar with us. We're with King of the Deep. We are so excited to be here to tell you all about this year. We've got some special guests I'm going to bring on in just a minute. But if you're tuning in to watch, say hello, leave a comment. We stream out to a couple of different platforms, so some of the comments show, some of them don't. But just say hello if you're here. We're so excited to have you here. Yes, we're ready to let's go, Mike. Linkus, yes, it is going to be the years. I hope you can make more events this year, Linkus. You were a little dragging on that second half last year.
Hey, Kyle, yeah, y'all all comment. Let us know that y'all are here. If
Hey,
y'all
Kyle.
can hear us, everybody can hear us okay.
All right, so we're going to jump right into it because I don't want to make our special guest wait very long. Real quick, let me say one final, because we never really did an end of the year live stream. One final thank you and big, huge appreciation to all of our sponsors for last season. We are working with a lot of you guys have already, we're locking everything in. We're bringing so many of you back this year, and we just want to say thank you so much for the support. We're going to start introducing those sponsors here over the next few days and the next week or so. And just thank you so much for everybody that supported us last year. We're excited to do it all over, even bigger and better. And we've got some new sponsors already joining us this year. So we're so excited about that. Thank you so much. With that being said, we are also going to welcome any new sponsors that would like to join our team. We have kind of about, I guess, another week or two of like time where we can kind of get you added on. It's never too late, but we are going to be sending our first run of stuff to print in another week or two. So if you'd like to join our team, be that annually for the whole year, for the series and for King of the Deep, or maybe in another way, maybe you want to do something for the kids, maybe you want to do something for one of these other classes we're going to introduce tonight, or just something different in between. We do lots of different things and work with so many different organizations and businesses. We'll find something that meets your need and your goal if you want to work with us. So did want to say that. And lastly, as far as my housework here, let me just say thank you to Super ATV for joining us again this year as our title sponsor.
Very appreciative. Another year with Super ATV as our title sponsor, and just as such a big supporter for everything that we do. We couldn't say how much we are excited about 2025, and especially with such a great partnership like Super ATV. So
they're awesome. Yep. Hey, everybody who's tuning in, let me say hey real quick. Hey, Braxton. Hey, Julie Jones-Rogers. Hey, Ron Drake, Darius, Desiree, Tony, the Wethington family.
We got all the usual suspects already.
Yeah. Peyton Talby, Brinley Wake, Taylor Bonnet, Christopher Talby, Jason Dixon, Cash Dixon. Thanks, y'all. Thank y'all so much. We're so excited to be here with you guys tonight.
Hey. Yeah, very excited, and we hope everybody had a great Christmas and a great New Year, no matter where you were. So it's been a great year. 2024 was unbelievable.
Yep. All right, so let's get right into it. I'm going to go over the calendar. We've had that up for a couple of weeks now. I'll go over that after we do the rules. I'm going to switch it up a little bit. So let's bring on our special guests that we've got tonight real quick. I've got two of them. I'm going to bring them on at the same time. So first we've got Miss Candace Baxley, and we've also got Mr. Sid Mathis.
There he is. There she is. Welcome. How are y'all doing this evening?
Good. How are y'all?
Good.
There she is. We can hear both of y'all pretty well. That's great. We're glad we got a good connection.
So we're going to pop up this graphic real quick, and I think this will quickly explain why we've got you guys on here as our guests tonight. We have decided to add some new classes to the series this year. And both of you guys represent some of the presenting sponsors for those classes. So we're going to pop those right up on the screen. And just for sake of ladies first, let's start with Candace. Let's talk about the class that was really your brainchild.
Well, it's always been an idea to have a ladies class. I mean, let's just face it. Some of us just can't compete with the male racers, no matter how much we try.
Right.
So I think that the ladies class is going to give girls a chance to, compete and not have to worry about being extra competitive or extra yeah, but anyways, yeah.
Taking more risk maybe than they were comfortable with, or
risk
something
takers.
like that.
There's so many guys that are risk takers, and if you were like me, you can't risk, getting hurt or anything like that.
Right. We can't have mama getting hurt,
But
so.
yeah, it definitely gives girls a chance to be competitive, and and you don't have to go all out or spend a bunch of money on a bike. It's
Yep.
you could start out small. I mean, I'm hoping that we can actually draw in a bunch of new racers, probably get together with some old racers. I know that we've got quite a few new girl racers this year versus last year, and it's a big age difference. You've got some older racers like me, and then you've got some younger racers like Maddie. I'm so excited to be able to race against everybody.
I'm excited about that too. I think you're right. I think a lot of times, it would be intimidating, or you feel like
Yes.
you may feel that pretty confident in your ability, but just know that you can't hold a candle to some. I mean, some of these runs, some of these 6, 7, 8 second passes are crazy, But I think,
and I feel like a lot of these girl racers don't race because they know that for a fact they can't win.
Right.
I mean,
right.
how can you beat against some of these top racers? I can name a handful.
Yeah.
That's really, really good racers, a bunch of them. And they're all guys, every single one of them. I don't know if I can name one girl racer that probably was top 10 in the series.
Right. Well, I think that I'm hoping, and the goal is, as you said, to encourage some new blood into it, to encourage these women to give it a shot. I mean, even if, we only have 6, 8, women in a class, I mean, that would be ecstatic. Just anybody new that we can pull into this, because I'm going to tell you, if they do it the one time, I think they're going to get hooked.
Yeah. I mean, as girls, we're more than just moms and workers. I mean, we love to be spontaneous. We love to be adventurous. We love being riskful. And this is just a great opportunity.
Yes. I love it. And I know that there are other places, like I know XBR did the Ladies Bogger of the Year. There have been some ladies only single events and things like that, but I don't know that I've seen something like this that has, carried on with points like that throughout the season for the ladies yet. So it was an excellent idea. You said it, and I was like, it just struck it with me that day on the live, and I'm thrilled to be able to do that. David Rogers says Emma can still run in the big tire. Yes. So the women can still compete. You don't have to only go in the women's class. It is just.
Yeah. It's an extra class that we have added specifically for the women who want to compete in that class. As long as you've got the right tire size, as long as you've got the right ATV or side-by-side, then it is for any female. And, we want to see that class be competitive based on the rules.
Right.
And as you can see, the rules are kind of 37 and under. We're going to talk some more about it.
It's 35, but we'll go over the rules in a minute when we get to that for everything. So, but
I'm excited to see like moms and children, going against one another.
Me too. It's really when you can pull the whole family in, and we said this, like when we kind of started doing the kids stuff, that was like a good reason for the mamas to start coming. And if you can keep mama happy, then everybody's happy, so now we're trying to get the mamas racing now too. And let's keep mama happy.
And we really, we were so happy to hear, your suggestion on that, and adding classes, especially for the females, we felt like would be something just to make our events and also offer something to the females to hopefully get them started, and then we'll see them racing in some of the other classes.
That's right. And I want to say too that we decided we didn't make this an unlimited women's class or anything like that. And we made it a smaller tire, naturally aspirated class, because the goal is sort of like we did with the kids. The goal is to draw in new racers, not to make a specialized category that is catered to the more experienced women with the built machines that, that have more seat time. We want to encourage some new racers to participate and to pick up this hobby. So we are still gathering, funds for this and trying to see what we can raise to support this class. We do have a commitment already from Bexley Off-Road, and we're going to build on that. So if there's anybody that really feels a tug on their heart or feels that this would be a good way for them to get involved, reach out to us. There's no minimum amount or anything. We just want to really pull some stuff together and offer something for the women this year. So, So
I will say that there is a lady in everybody's life, whether there is a mom, a sister, a kid, a wife. There's always a woman in somebody's life that has always made a difference.
Yep. Bring them on. Your mom and them, your grandma and them.
No matter what the amount is.
Yeah.
Medea, all of them.
I mean, it don't matter. Long as they are female and it's got to be government. We're going to check their ID.
I know. I do. I feel like I'm going to have to start checking IDs or lifting skirts. I don't know, but we'll see.
Well,
all right. Well, thank you, Candace. We're excited. I won't take any more of your time tonight, but thank you so much for that idea.
You're welcome.
Your support. Thank you and Bexley Off-Road. I appreciate you guys so much, and we're really, really excited about this year.
Yeah, we're going to see a lot of y'all, and we appreciate it so much. And tell Mr. Brian, Mr. Rooster Baxley that we will see him a lot. We appreciate it.
Thank y'all.
Thank you. All right, I'm going to let you take over with Mr. Honda.
Yeah. Hey, he's at the casino, he said, but he's going to tune in with us, and we're going to talk about these Honda classes because I know there's been so much over the years talking back and forth about the competition in the Honda holes. As most people, like I still have a lot of Hondas, and a lot of people started out with the Hondas, and we basically had so many people asking about doing Honda stuff, and you yourself being Mr. Honda man said, you know what, I've got the same kind of questions. Everybody wants to see more bounty holes, wants to put the Hondas to the test. Yep. And you said, basically you would step up to the plate, wanted to get that going. And we're so happy to have Vessel Power Sports as the sponsor for our Honda classes. So without keep going on that one, I will let you kind of talk about that a little bit and tell us a little bit about the classes that we've kind of worked out for those Hondas.
Yeah, and I mean, like we spoke, because, I didn't want to take away from our business and what we do to go run multiple events a year. So it really just worked out that you can really take over the classes that we were doing, and then y'all can take it to its fullest potential, and then we can be the sponsor for that and actually get our customers and our followers out there to y'all. And it just really made it easier for both of us because half the work's on y'all, half's on us, and we can really come together and nail down a great Honda class for it, doing the Honda solid rear axle. And then, did we say if we were going to pair any three-wheelers with the solid axle class?
You know what we said is it's got to have four wheels or less, and that was the deal.
Right.
So three-wheelers are good to go if they're in the solid,
right,
street rear axle class.
That'll be super cool.
Yeah, man. I'm all for some three-wheel kill.
So we got that, and then the independent rear suspension. That's going to be all your Rubicons, the electric shift Ranchers, the older style IRS Ranchers, the OBS, and then doing the Honda side-by-side class with the Pioneers and the Talons. And then tire restrictions, it's really unlimited because, from what we've seen the last 3 years, that tire doesn't make a difference if you got a 50 or a 28. It's up to the driver to pick the right line, and once you hit that line, you just give it the gas and go. We know Hondas are slow, but they can make it through some stuff.
Yeah. I'm so excited about this Honda class. I really am. We've got so many people that have Hondas and, they don't really think about it, but I think we're going to see some people coming out of the woodworks, bringing their old Hondas. I hope we see some three-wheelers. I really do. That would be awesome.
Yeah, I know our first Honda-only bounty event, we had a three-wheeler take first place in the solid rear axle class. I don't know how it happened, but, he had the right setup and he had everything geared right, so it definitely gave everybody a run for their money.
It does have to have a Honda motor.
We'll go over all that here shortly.
Yeah, but you can have turbo, you can have nitrous, you can have a supercharger, but it does have to be a Honda motor in that Honda class. It's got to be a OEM production style motor for a Honda.
Yeah, I can't wait to see what some of you guys do with these Hondas. I cannot wait.
He said,
excited
"Does
for all the
He
people
says-
that were always sitting watching that they're going to actually get their bikes in and actually race now and have a potential to win money and go along with the series and actually travel with us."
Yeah.
And that's really the objective for everybody that's gotten involved with King of the Deep is, we want to make a well-rounded event for all those racers, for the ladies, for the kids, for, the Hondas, for everybody to have a level playing field, if you will, or at least as much as we can offer for the budget that we can fit it. And we're just so daggone excited, and we're just so thankful for you guys to come on and help support these races in this race series. So, we've got Baxley Off-Road, and we've got Vessel Power Sports that have come in to sponsor those classes. And we just couldn't thank you guys enough. And we're looking forward to, really seeing what these things are going to do and how well they're going to grow. Because I think there's going to be a lot of excitement, a lot of competition too in those classes that we've added.
Yeah. But don't worry, y'all. I mean, if you're wondering about how hard the holes are going to be for the Honda, we're going to send you through our best kids hole. So we'll be too tough.
Like that deep. Maybe that deep.
Yeah. The mini mutter hole. That's right.
I just got so much to say right now about what's going to happen, saying back and forth about these races and the times that end up coming out of these holes. So, some of the holes we're going to be racing, obviously, we're going to race the same holes, and the Hondas will race the same holes as the small tires, but we'll talk about that later on at each event. It may change, but it's definitely going to be a great topic of conversation when we see these Hondas racing now, and some of these people that may have never raced before will now feel like that they've got a shot and come and race with us.
Yeah.
Well, now I have a chance to actually go through a hole and participate.
Yes. I can't wait.
Yeah, well, I know you'll send it. I have seen it many times, that old blue Pioneer completely buried. I didn't even know what color it was the first time I saw it.
Probably looked like a three-wheeler too.
You were driving it like a three-wheeler.
Well, thank you so much. We're really so appreciative. I know we really haven't talked too much about it, and we'll get into all those details. We're going to go over the rules and the classes tonight. We'll be releasing more and more information as we get the sponsors finalized and all that. But thank you guys for coming in a big way. That's all I'm going to say about that. Thank you for coming in a big way. We're really looking forward to doing the Hondas this year.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. So thank y'all so much for making sure y'all got it started and initiated.
I'll have to compete in that class too.
Yes,
absolutely. That's what we hope. We hope it really does turn out to be, a great thing. And I think we're going to have some really good competition. And we're going to talk about the rules so that everybody can get ready to race with us.
Yeah,
that's right.
All right. Well, thank y'all both for joining us. Thank you for taking the time out of your night, Sid. I know you're at OPE, so we appreciate you. And thank you, Candace. I appreciate you.
You're welcome.
We'll talk to y'all soon.
All right. Thank y'all. Y'all have a good night.
Bye.
Bye, y'all.
Be safe, y'all.
All righty. Let me pop this down. Okay.
There it is.
So there it is. Yeah.
We are excited about those classes, and we've made some very small changes to the classes from 2024, and we have put those on our website already. And so our 2025.
Yeah. You want to just start going over those?
If you'd like me to, we can definitely roll those on that beautiful rule and regulation clip that we've got right here. So 2025, we will have. She said, "Here we go." Like,
well, I was waiting for you to finish talking.
Hey, I thought you had like something I didn't know about, like a little movie or some presentation.
No, here we go. And look, you guys, all of this is live on the King of the Deep website. If you click on at the top where it says rules and regulations, I think, or maybe Bounty Series, and then click on rules and regulations, it's all
follow
there.
Along.
Yep. Don't leave this live. I'm going to scroll through it, and we're just kind of going to talk about it. But later on tonight, go there. If you have any questions, come back, comment on this video, send us a message. Steve will be happy to clarify anything that you have questions
And look,
about.
hey, y'all, let me know what classes y'all are planning on racing. Comment in the comment section what classes you are expecting to race with us this year. I'd love to see who's tuning in, what classes you're planning on racing, and what we can expect, because 2025 that first event at Boggs, you guys, is going to be bananas, and I'm ready for it. I hope y'all are. We've got so much excitement. We've been talking with them about it. So, but hey, we've got the 2025 rules up on our website, and let's shoot through those real quick in case you haven't had a chance to see those yet. We're going to talk about them right now.
Okay, I was trying to make them as big as I could for y'all.
So medium tire, all right.
Yep. Okay, so first thing that really changes is 1.2. The small tire open class is going to be 35 inches and below. It was previously 32 inches and below, but now it is going to be 35 and below. Okay, so question already.
All right, we're going to talk about questions. Question number 1. Why wouldn't you have the NA tire size and open tire size the same? Well, Tony, we wanted to have some sort of separation right there where we would have the NA class have that 32-inch tire that pretty much everybody is familiar with and everybody has ran, and then the 35-inch tire size for the open class because we wanted to step that up. And honestly, we wanted to be kind of more similar with Chad at Savage Trails and kind of keep it like that for y'all that were running multiple series. So anyone banned 34 terms yet? Hey, I'm going to say this. We haven't banned any certain tires or anything else because it's really, unless we just take a tape measure out and put it on the tape measure, sometimes it's hard for us to tell if it's a 32 or 33 or 34 or what that really is. But we measure everything with physical measurements.
They're doing a bunch of classes. Davis family. Don't forget the women's.
So I'm telling you, look at there, ready to go. Mini motors, single cylinder, small tire NA, and small tire open.
Yep.
There it is.
Love it. Love it. All right, let's continue on. So
but I'll say this.
Yep.
You don't have to. We'll go back to the rules. So one thing is what we're thinking is obviously the small tire class is a small tire class, and you should have time if you want to run the same NA ATV or side by side without the bottle on it in the open class. Then you will have an opportunity to change tires, but it's 35-inch tire and below for the open class. So that's what it is.
Yeah.
But I appreciate the questions, guys. Y'all keep them rolling.
Ron said
Chad class is under 35. I don't know what Chad class is, but
so so it was 35 and under for Savage Trail. So like if you had a because I know that there are a lot of people, well, several people that have told us that they're running Chad series and also King of the Deep. And so those machines that they may have like 34s on, we just felt like it was a little bit, it would streamline that a little bit for people.
Make y'all buy a new set of tires. That's what we're going to make y'all do.
MSA and EFX. There we go. All right. So
Super ATV makes those 34-inch assassinators, and you can get those right. 34-inch terminators, and actually put some air in them and everything else. But we'll talk about all the different rules right here. I just wanted to be clear on the 32 to 35-inch small tire.
All right. And then we've got so medium is the same, unlimited is the same. We have the women's only naturally aspirated class is going to be 35 inches and below. And then the Honda, 3 classes for the Hondas, as Sid said, there is no tire size restriction. So you can really do whatever you want on the tires there. It doesn't matter to us. Some, as he said, some locations it may be more advantageous to have a certain size and some may not. Larry wants to have a 50 years. You mean 50 inch or 50 years? I feel like you're saying 50 years.
He's probably having a senior citizens class so he can get in there and womp around a little bit. I love it, Larry.
Maybe next year.
How about a 50 and over year old class? Hey, look, if you've ever been to the Hair Scramble series or some of those things, they got something for every class, every experience class. But hey, man, if you think we got enough in the 50 and over class, I will run it.
Yeah. Well, I think we're making our way there. All right. And then let's see. The rest of the rules on this is the same. Larger tires cannot race in a class designated for smaller, but smaller can race up, basically. And then if you're using different tire sizes, then the largest tire size is going to be the tire that determines what class that fits in. All right. 50 years old, AARP discount. The AARP class brought to you by the presenting sponsor, sableweld.com. That's what we're going to go with next year.
Yes.
Okay.
Let's do it.
Class equipment regulations. The naturally aspirated class, the small tire naturally aspirated class, and the women's only NA class, you can only have naturally aspirated engines, no turbos, no blowers, no nitrous allowed. Nitrous bottles must be removed from the machine prior to lining up for your run. And if you notice, what's different than last year for that class is that not only we took out the verbiage about no stretch in that 2.1 section, because this year that is addressed in Rule 2.2. And that is that rule states that we're going to use the measurement from the center of the front hub to the center of the rear hub. And that measurement must be 65 inches or less. So basically the center of the front to the center of the rear hubs, that has to be 65 inches or less. And let's talk about why you came up with that.
So what we measured was the stock frame on a Can-Am Outlander Max. And then we added 2 inches to the front and we added 2 inches to the rear, so that frame was what we kind of based a stock max length from hub to hub. And so what we did is basically give another inch of wiggle room in there after adding a front and a rear forward and rear A-arms. So that came out to be 65 inches. I've talked to several people in the industry, and that seems to be the best way for us to really set that as a scientific, dead set number, and 65 inches and less. And we're talking about NA class. So,
Yes.
We wanted
The
to
women's.
do something for the NA class as well as the women's class that kept it where, you could go and buy an Outlander Max, and then you could do the modifications. And if you also bought a Renegade and you stretched it, it would still be shorter than the length of a Max. So, we're talking about kind of cutting hairs on so much as what that gives us an advantage. So, there's a lot of things, but that NA class, build the best motor you can, show up with the best tires on it that you can. And I hope the competition is stiff in that NA class. I love that people are really, pushing that rules. And so we've got those out as soon as we can, and you build them the best you can.
Yep. All right. So let's see. Any comments about that? Somebody says we're maxed out. Greg says we're legal. All right.
Like it.
Kyle Shirley said, so a 50 can't run in a medium tire if it measures 45 when let down.
Say same thing, Kyle. So if your tire is sitting on hard packed ground with the same tire pressure that you're going to run in the hole. So, and we'll talk about if people have objections or if they want to make an objection, but the rule is on hard packed ground with the air pressure that you're going to run in the hole, or if you ran in the hole the same air pressure, then it has to be 45 inches and below. It doesn't matter what the manufacturer says the tire is. If you've aired it down or whatever, we put a hard packed surface, we put a tape measure from the ground, the very furthest cleat, all the way to the very top cleat, and we put a basically my mind is so right now. No, it's not. Tape measure up and a level on the top of the tire. And that's how we measure. We've always done it that way. We had a lot of things happen when I first started doing bounty holes about tire sizes, manufacturer tire sizes, air pressures, and everything else.
And I don't know if that's specifically said in here about how we measure, but I will add that in so that way we can all reference that.
Just to be clear, so people don't think I'm mumbling on that, it is a hard packed surface, a tape measure from the ground up, and the level is set at the highest peak of the tire. So basically on the tire, and that level has to be at 45 inches or below, or 35 inches and below, or 32 inches and below, depending on what class that is. Okay.
All right.
You gonna run, Mama? Come on now. Bring Mama on, Kyle.
All right. So let's see.
35, yes, sir. 35 inch on the tape measure with a level.
All right, 2.3
That's the rule. Sir.
mega UTVs with UTV, ATV engines will be allowed in the unlimited tire class. That is the same as it was last year. Same 2.4. Every machine has to be equipped with their own recovery strap before they pull up to the line. We're not responsible for the recovery strap. We're not responsible for the way that you hook that to your machine, and we're not responsible for anything that happens pulling your machine out. All right, section 3. Most of this is the same right here, but just for anybody that's new to the series, definition of production style for reference as its verb, is used in these rules. It means as produced for and equipped on machines sold by manufacturers and their dealers, OEM, or be produced as a direct replacement for the OEM equipment, or I think it's the OEM equipment. All machines must retain and utilize the production style ATV, UTV, engine, transmission, and differential. So the person that asked earlier, does a Honda have to have a Honda engine? Yes. Right?
Yes, you have to have a Honda engine in order to participate in the Honda class. You must have a Honda rear differential. You must have a Honda front differential. You must have a Honda engine.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. No motorcycle, car, or truck engines, transmissions, or differentials allowed. That is all the same. Axle paddles are allowed as long as the axles remain as production style for the machine. Stretched or modified frames and tube chassis are allowed, but for the NA classes, the small tire NA and the women's only NA class, the hub-to-hub measurement must be 65 inches or less, as referenced in Rule 2.2 that we have already gone over. Greg, we're going to talk about the kids stuff separately. This is for like all the King of the Deep classes.
Yeah, we're going to have a whole separate rollout on the kids stuff.
All right. Okay. All type of tires are allowed, but must run in the appropriate class as measured by the tire's actual physical dimensions, not the dimensions indicated on the side of the tire.
So that let me make sure you guys that are talking about that, Ron Drake and Kyle, y'all are real clear on this rule right there. Read it again.
The one I just read?
Yes, ma'am.
All types of tires are allowed, but must run in the appropriate class as measured by the tire's actual physical dimensions, not the dimensions indicated on the side of the tire.
So what that means is it doesn't matter what the manufacturer says on the side of the tire. We go by the actual physical measurements of the tire with a tape measure from the ground and a level on the very top of the tire. So that's what we use, and I think that has been made abundantly clear throughout the years that has taken away. I'll tell the story very quickly.
You said clear.
The very first year we went down to Bama Slam, and there was all these people telling me that, hey, these tires were, and I'll tell you who it was. It was Joseph, Cordell, and Braxton came up and said, hey, AJ's tires are not right. We changed our tires. We did it the way you needed it. It said it was supposed to be done for 35 and less. Those tires ain't right. Well, he cut the tires. I couldn't tell you what the size of the tires were from the side of the tire. And I had said we're going off the actual dimensions. So when I went and measured them, it wasn't right, and I had to disqualify AJ. And I'm telling y'all, we've been doing this long enough. It's way back when, and that's just been the best way for us to do it. It's easy, it's clear, and anybody can do it anywhere in any shop. You basically hard pack surface, tape measure with a level, and you know whether or not you're going to have a problem or not. And whatever tire pressure you're running, you need to make sure you know what the tire measurement is going to be at that tire pressure. Mark, hey, what's up there, DJ Mean It? Appreciate you coming on, buddy.
He said, can I run my Cybertruck?
Hey, man, I got to tell you what, if we got two people with Cybertrucks, I'm just kidding. Now, I'll let one person with a Cybertruck. You hit that bounty hole, absolutely. I'll pay your entry fee.
Look, Whiskey Biz is going to be coming with his little Cyber Razor.
His Cyber Razor. We're going to have a heads-up duel.
All right. So
back to the rules.
3.7. The rest of this is the same. Maximum of 4 tires are allowed on a machine at one time. As we said earlier, we're talking kind of about the 3-wheelers. The rule says maximum of 4. No tracks or track type systems are allowed. All tires must be able to be like inflated, whether you're running air in them or not. They've got to be able to be like.
That's right. You know, you guys know what we're saying by that. That basically they have to be inflatable whether they're inflated or not, whether they're completely flat or not, they have to be a rubber tire. And if anybody has any questions about that, let me know.
All right. Tethered kill switches are recommended on ATVs. All right.
So this is something we've had a lot of talk with, and, you know, as a racer-friendly event promoter, we want to say tether switches are recommended. Most of the racers already have those, and we definitely saw the reason why those were a good idea. And if the racer comes all the way off, or the bike does get completely away from the racer, you know, we've seen racers get wild on the bike, and it wouldn't have mattered. The tether wouldn't have helped that. But let me see what Ron Drake's got to say. Ron,
what did they say?
I'm trying to read it. No,
Sorry.
That was my suggestion for small tire. We get that big or bigger is understood. That way all the BS drama and questions are eliminated on small tire. You know, that's the thing is, I think that's the easiest way to do it. And I mean, you know, we want to keep that small tire in a way of saying it, you know, for the people that it was intended for. Now, I know everybody wants to race in it, and that's great. But, you know, the rules, we're trying to make them clear and cut. Tethers should be required. Well, they are basically recommended for all ATVs. So,
I mean, here's the thing, like the Honda Rancher guy that, I mean, we think the Honda Rancher guy is going to get away from us, you know. So,
Mark said the best DJ in the world.
oh, is Ashley's happy birthday? Happy birthday, Ashley.
Hey.
I'm sorry. Happy birthday. All right.
We got tethers. And I mean, most people that are racing in those classes are already running tethers.
All right, let's go section 4, procedural rules and regulations. So we're going to, just like last year, the only thing that's changed here is that we're going to let the women's NA class, I'm going to let the kids, or, you know, I'm going to let all ages run in the women's NA class. I'm also going to let any age run in the Honda class. That's fine. Still stands that if you're going to run in the larger classes, the medium or the unlimited tire classes, those have holes that have much more water. They're deeper. They're bigger machines. If you're going to run on those on an ATV or a four-wheeler and you're under 16, you need to check with us ahead of time. It's not any kind of complicated process, but we just need to make sure that you're just not 12 and deciding that day that you want to just jump on a big, huge machine. So just need pre-approval ahead of time before the day of the event, because don't come up like that at registration. It's a little hard for us to just vet everything out, make sure that we feel comfortable with you racing.
They petitioned that Jacob Ray and Billy King must wear tethers.
Yes. You know what? I don't think that's a bad idea. I'm good with that. All right. We'll come back to that. Kyle, we'll talk about that a little bit.
We're going to make BJ Johnson on that list also.
Okay. And
they all have tethers.
You know what?
That's the funny part about it. They all have tethers.
You must run the original machine you entered into the event. So that means that particular event. As you guys know, we do not require that you use the same event throughout the season for the whole series.
The same ATV or side-by-side.
Correct.
At that event.
I mean, you could run, if you're running in the medium class and you want to run an ATV at this event, and then at the next event, number 2, you know, that machine breaks, but you're going to run your side-by-side instead, that's fine. It doesn't matter. The points track the person through the class throughout the series. But what this rule means is that whatever machine you enter into, like the first run, has to be the same machine that you finish with for that class today. You can't run your Can-Am for the first one and it breaks, and then you run your Polaris for your second run. That doesn't work. It's got to be the same machine that day into that individual event. A machine may enter the event under multiple drivers, but each driver must compete with the same machine that they signed up with. So again, if Joe and Sam want to run the same Outlander, that's fine. It's a risk that you take, you know, knowing that you're paying for these runs that somebody else may tear the machine up on. That's totally fine, because I do know, you know, that there's families, they can't afford multiple machines. We don't want to exclude anybody. That's fine. But if that machine breaks on, you know, at any point, you can't then do the second run on a different machine. It's got to be the same machine that you did your first run on. All right. Second runs are available for purchase at the time of registration up to the time of the driver's meeting. Again, you must run the original machine that you entered into the event for any subsequent runs including second runs and runoffs. All right. Oh, can we put Stephen on a leash? Yes, we can. We can. Okay. If you're not present and ready for your run within 3 minutes of your name being called to the line, you will be disqualified. You guys, let me just say this, and I'm going to say it because it happened. I mean, we need you guys to be there and to be ready. It is a long day. We are trying our best. We're going to start running more classes at the same time, kind of like we did the last two events. We're trying to get things moving faster. We're adding more classes, so we are aware that increases the day for everybody. We need everybody to do their best to be there. We're going to expand our sound. We're also got some other ideas and plans in the works for a way to help you guys, the racers, to know when it's your time to come, other than just Steve announcing on the microphone. But we're going to have to be very strict with that 3-minute lineup rule, because we just don't have the time to wait for that for multiple people throughout the day. It happened at Grand River. We said that from the get-go. Somebody had asked, and we said at the drivers' meeting that it was going to be a strict 3-minute rule. And it happened. It happened to Jeremy with ORO Fab, with Off-Road Outlaws. He drove that whole trip from North Carolina down there to support us. And it came time for his run, and he missed it. And I mean, I hate it, but we didn't let him run it, and I mean, he's one of our sponsors. So we have to stick to that. So I'm sorry. That's just the way that it is. We're going to do our best to make things a little bit better for you guys, so that you know when is your time to go, or when it's coming up. We're still playing with that, sorting that out, figuring out those details. We have several logistical ideas that we're going to be rolling out to make this year better for everybody. But
there's some things that Ron Drake was asking.
It is
about,
what it is.
I tried to ask.
Okay, hold on. Let's go back here and see. I'm going to scroll back.
To
drag racing, we'll let you know about those. What are the projected payouts for each class based on the added classes? Let me say this. I'm not going to tell you exactly what the payouts are yet, because we're still in works with sponsorship and figuring things out. So we're going to release that probably in another week or two. Exactly. But I will tell you that the Honda classes are funded by Vessel Power Sports. They don't come out of the piece of the pie for the King of the Deep payouts. And then the women's class, we're also trying to do something similar with that, where that's going to be totally separately funded. Kind of like the kids were separately funded last year. It didn't take anything away from the King of the Deep racers. The idea in adding the classes was not to take anything away from those classes that we already had. We actually have added to that. So those classes will not be reduced. They will be increased. But I don't want to tell you exactly what that will be just yet. The Honda classes, that is totally separate, 100% funded by Vessel Power Sports. And the women's, we are trying to do something similar with that. We've got a good start with that with Back to the Off-Road, but we would love to have some more support for the ladies there.
Yeah, until we really figure out what the sponsor support this year looks like, we don't want to announce what the payouts will be. We know kind of what the base is right now, but we want to keep growing that if we can. We do know what the buy-ins, but what the buy-ins will be for next year. If you want to talk about that, he did ask about that.
We don't know what that is going to be yet. Exactly.
We don't know what that's going to be for the classes we've added.
Yeah. Well, let's just wait and let's just announce it all in another week or two. That's good. Okay. Candace said, with more classes, will the bounty time be different? So we're getting another set of timers and clock. So we're going to be ready to do 3 holes basically at the same time. Depending on staff, it may not be that, lane A and lane C are running at the exact same time, but we're going to try to make it where A is running, he gets stuck, B starts, he gets stuck, they're pulling them out. C, we're trying to make it go as best as we can. We started doing that for the last 2 events last year, and I did my best, but I will say that I was short our main lead pit official. And so that definitely put a hindrance on it a little bit.
There's a little bit of confusion sometimes, but hey, that's part of it when you got 195 runs and we got it doing.
Yeah.
So
So
I was excited about that.
one thing that we will be doing is the kids event will start in the morning separate than King of the Deep. So we're going to go ahead and knock them out of the way, like maybe like 9, maybe 10 in the morning,
Yeah.
and knock them
Kids
out.
will be early. So I know kids are early risers anyways, but I want to go ahead and get the kids done, the awards done, and kids will be done before we ever start any of the King of the Deep racing.
Let's see here if there's anything else.
No, Tom, you're not going to put a shot collar on me. That's my brother. And yes, I was abused as a child.
Okay, cool. So, Ron, I think that the buy-ins are going to be like what they were at the end of the season last year, as far as those go. I just want to, the only reason I'm not saying what those are yet is because I want to be like, we've always structured it to try to be like proportionally fair. So, the smaller classes with the smaller payouts had a lower buy-in, and same thing. And I want to be able to factor in the women's and the Honda as well, because we like things to be fair and to have a reason behind it. And so I just wanted to make sure that we feel like everything adds up in the fairest way we can, and just kind of that's our goal with that, I think. So we hope to have that out in the next week
I
or
know
two.
this. Last year we started out with 6 every event. That's what we started out with, and I know that we'll be doing quite a bit more than that, and that's going to be based on the payouts. We'll definitely looking at what the buy-ins are.
Yeah.
I know what they are, but I'm not going to release it yet.
And I think what we're going to do is we'll have like the guaranteed, for sure. And it may be something that after the first event, with all these extra stuff going on, it may be something where event number 2 and 3 and 4 look totally different because event number 1, how it turned out, as far, not in a worse way, in a positive way, so we just have to see kind of how things go. But yeah, that's where we're at with that. So we're not trying to hold anything away from y'all. We just want to have everything straight before we release it. So, okay. Let's hop back over here. We said the 3-minute thing. I talked with you guys in depth about that. All of the rest of this is the same. You can't exit the hole in the starting line once your run has begun. If you like are just, because people have done this, if you just want to get your points and your goal is to trip that timer and get your points, then go into the hole, trip the timer, and then tell us you're done so that we mark your distance. If you go into the hole and then back right back out, you're disqualified. I didn't get a distance. I didn't get a time. And it's all like, that doesn't count. You don't get your points that way. So you can't go into the hole, back out and get your points. And you can't go into the hole, back out, and then go back in like in a different way. That would give you an advantage of that everybody doesn't have. So that's the reason for that. Registration for your classes and all runs must be purchased before the start of the driver's meeting. I changed 4.12. It used to say random draw. I changed it to say electronically randomized. You guys, everybody that's been racing with us knows that we have been doing that for the last many events. As long as I have internet, we can do it that way. It makes it go a lot faster. We can print everything out. And I actually found a way to do it through the Excel spreadsheet where I don't even have to have the internet now. I can just type the names in, highlight the cells in Excel, highlight the cells of all of the names, and then hit randomize, and it just does it. Do it yourself. Give it a try on your own so that I'm not giving you any fake news here. But that'll randomize it, and then we can print it right out even if we don't have the internet. So that's the plan with 8 classes now and 2 runs. Potentially in each class, 2 runs worth of those classes, and then also the kids in the morning as well. Like we can't draw chips. So I changed that to say that. All right. I'll let you know that in a minute, Grayson. Let's see. You got to start wherever they tell you. And that's different from event to event. Sometimes like Steve will decide to start back and let people have a running hole, a running start. Sometimes we've done events in the past, maybe not this year, where we start people in the water. So it just depends on whatever he decides. Okay, here's another thing that is different. 4.13, all drivers must attend the driver's meeting themselves in person or send a member of their pit or crew to stand in for them and to speak on their behalf. If there are any issues that arise during the driver's meeting that require a vote, the stand-in representative cannot argue with the majority count. It is the stand-in representative's responsibility to relay all information back to the driver. we put that in there because there've been a couple of situations where, people really have a hard time getting back over there, whatever's going on. You're fixing something on the machine, you're trying to unload
And
because
we're
you just
having
got
to
to the
wait
park.
for them.
We're trying to wait and we don't have the time to wait. So this way, hopefully that'll help you guys, but it is 100% your person's responsibility to get you all that information. And that's rare, but I think, I don't know, we may have had a time or two where we had to decide something in the meeting. And so if that happens, that person can vote on your behalf. So unsportsmanlike conduct will be immediately disqualified. All of the rest of this is the same. Pit official scoring calls, if we have any kind of questions about that, then we go back to refer. Well, we all are watching, but then we go back to refer to videos if we need to as well. And then we vote. We basically, the three of us will decide. Floating and skimming are allowed if you can do it. There will be a 3-minute time limit for each run, and all competitors must start with the center of your tire on the starting line as drawn by the official. So that starting line may be right behind the timer. It may be 10 feet behind the timer. It could be in the water and we put the timers in front of that. It can be wherever he decides it should go.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
You got it.
Let's see. Safety stuff. The only thing that's really changed with this, we're not going to let you guys have passengers in the side-by-sides this year. We did that the first year. Then I took it away the second year or something, maybe. Then I added it back last year or the year before. But honestly, people rarely rode with a passenger. And really, for me, it's more about, I don't want nobody, and the people that did ride with a passenger, nobody climbed around and acted crazy. But so I just want to keep people safe. It's less liability. And then also, if you have a passenger, I don't always get their waiver signed. So, because I don't know who it's necessarily going to be. So that's the only reason really why. So we don't want to we had an issue the first year where it was questionable at one point if a passenger was like driving or assisting. So that was why we took it out. Then we added it back, but we're just going to take it back out. Helmets are required. Goggles, safety glasses, and fire retardant suits are recommended for all drivers. There's not going to be any passengers, so I'll need to take that out. After registration, prior to the driver's meeting, you must have your machines and all your tires ready for pre-race inspection, and your machines are supposed to stay in the staging area. We don't, obviously with so many bikes, like we're not coming around, but if that is the time where you guys, if you have a question about like tire sizes or anything like that, to let us know. I know we had this situation last year with a tire size question, but it was after that class was run. So if you've got, I know that presents an issue. If you've got a machine and you're running one size in the small and then they've got tires lined up, they don't have on the machine yet. But the point is that if you're suspicious of something, just let us know as soon as you can. That way we can go ahead and get that resolved before they have a chance to change it later or to air it up, which I think is what happened last time.
Yeah, they were racing the same ATV in different classes, and they had already, by the time someone had come to make their objection there, and they had already aired the tires up for another class.
I did not put that objection rule in here, so I need to add that.
Okay, we'll change that before we ever have any events. Make sure
Okay.
we're 100%. That's why we go over all these rules with everybody.
Okay. All right. You cannot leave your machine or touch the ground in a manner to support your weight or to advance forward progress at any time during your run, or your run is over at that point. So for anybody new racing, for any Honda boys, anything like that, that is one thing that is different with our series than, and I'm saying this specifically for anybody interested in the Honda class, that is one thing that is different with us than what Vessel with the Honda boat, with the Honda holes was. They would allow you, even if you came off the bike, to get back on as long as you were back on the bike before you like throttled it. But for us, we're not, if you come off the bike, that's the end of the run. So I want to make sure that's one significant difference between us and the way that they had run those.
Yeah.
Okay. Timing, all of the timing and the scoring. I'm not going to read through all this, you guys, but that's all the same that it was done before. Everything is the exact same in section 6 and 7 and 8. So the rest of it is the same as it was in the previous years. Okay. Let's see if we got anything else to say. Anything else? Any other questions? What is considered unsportsmanlike conduct? That's a good question.
That is a good question. We have several people at the event that we normally go to whenever we have to enforce a rule. We have several pit officials. We have several other staff members that are on the social media staff. And, what's going to be deemed unsportsmanlike conduct, if you put your hands on anybody for any reason whatsoever other than to help them, that's unsportsmanlike conduct, and you're going to be removed from the park most of the time. So that's the number one thing. Unsportsmanlike conduct, we all have heated arguments. I mean, I've had times at events where, people were yelling and there's a lot of noise and we're yelling back and forth trying to get something worked out. But, we've never had to enforce that unsportsmanlike conduct rule. And I don't use it as a spiteful rule. I don't think that's the way to run a series.
No, I mean, our goal is not to ever eliminate anybody. But
we all have had discussions and stuff come up, but the main thing is that we're going to try to talk about it. And, usually it's something that if it's recurring behavior, then you're going to be.
And I would say this. I mean, I think that I don't know if it's because of the kids, or I don't know if it's just true. Like, I just really feel like we've had a great group of racers that have been racing with us the last couple of years. We really haven't had any problems. I mean, yeah, I know that things happen and like you said, people get heated, but everybody for the most part has conducted themselves in a way that I'm very proud of. Yeah. And I really haven't had anything. I mean, I can't see a situation. There wasn't a situation where we had to go to anybody and talk to anybody. And if something were to come up at the event, then I feel like we could use that rule and we could go up and be like, hey, Sammy,
well, the rules
you got
are good.
to chill out, or, you got to calm down because, we don't want to have whatever. So, I mean, it's not anything where we're trying to exclude anyone.
Some other rules or some other questions are. Let's see here.
Has a Honda Talon and wants to run at Elton. Yep. We're very excited about Elton.
Yep. Honda Talon will be perfect for the Honda UTV class. That is definitely allowed.
Yeah. Yeah. We're all adults. I mean, I think everybody's conducted themselves in a way that I can't truly be more proud of how everything's gone.
Yeah. And to be honest, we've really had very few questions at all up until that very last event of the year.
Yeah. And I would say too, that like having a difference of opinions of things doesn't make anybody unsportsmanlike, as long as things are addressed in a respectful way and nobody's like putting hands on anybody or just blatantly like cussing somebody out terribly. Like, it's all good.
People make mistakes and there's nothing wrong with us talking about it. And everybody has a difference of opinion as long as we're being respectful. And sometimes you just got to be respectful enough to say we can agree to disagree.
That's right. Okay. So that's it for the rules. I'm going to take those off. They are on the King of the Deep website. The classes are up there. I'm going to add in something that specifies exactly how we measure the tires, exactly how, like to the detail. And then also we're going to add something in there about challenging somebody's machine.
Yeah, if you'd like to challenge a machine or a racer for their mechanical, like their machine, if you want to challenge a call, then you're not going to have to pay anything for that because we want to get that right. But if you want to challenge a racer's machine or any type of mechanical issue on the machine, tire size, stretch, anything like that, we're going to have a tool, a jig for their naturally aspirated and the women's class that will measure hub by hub.
Yeah. All right. He said, wait, 8.3. King of the Deep reserves the right to change this rule book at any time. That's the same. It's been like that since the first series. It's always been in there.
It's always been in there.
If we had to change anything, like last year, for example, from event 3 to event 4, we changed the fact that we said that you had to take the bottle off of the machine. So that was an added rule that we changed. So basically it's just saying that if
needs to be changed, then, we do reserve the right to do that.
Yeah. And what we did was we made a live, we announced it, we changed the rule, and then we also printed off flyers and I laminated them and I put them and hung them up at the registration booth so that everybody would know that change and everything. So it's not to be sneaky. It's just in case if there's something we need to change, then we'll do that.
Anytime we do make any change, we make a lot of announcements about it. And we've really only had to make, I think, 1 or 2 changes throughout the whole entire
time we've ever done it. 5 years, 4 years, yeah.
Throughout the series, because we wanted to start and finish the way we intended it.
Okay, so that was it for that. I'm going to pop up the calendar for you guys. Yeah, Grayson said you should have to pay like $200. We're
going. It'll be $100 if you want to contest.
Okay. All right, so here's the calendar. That's tiny for you guys because it's tiny for us. But I did just want to say, in case you're not familiar with us, or I don't know if you can't read because it says it on the bottom, it's these are all of our events. We do series events for the Bounty Hole, and then we also do non-series events like Lake Fest at Daisy Dukes, Busco, different other events that are not series events. Like the New Year's Eve event we just did at Top Trails in Alabama was a hill climb event. It wasn't a Bounty Hole. And sometimes we do just one-off Bounty Holes that aren't part of the series. So all of these events on here that have the green highlight behind them, those are series events. Those are the events where the points are going to track for you for the year. Yeah. Any of the other events that you go to, we'll be there. Please come hang out. We'll do other competitions. There's probably going to be some chance to win money or at least some cool stuff. But there's no Bounty Hole that is going to give you points at those events. There may be a Bounty Hole. Like, for example, the second event on there in Top Trails, there's actually going to be a kids Bounty Hole, but that is not going to be part of the kids series. We'll get you guys all information about all that kind of stuff. While we're on the subject of the kids, we're going to roll all of that out here in another week or so, week or two. I don't want to make a promise about exactly when. The kids will have their own calendar. All of those dates in green that are King of the Deep series events, they are not all going to be kids series events because we're confirming all that right now. Most of them will be, but like, for example, we have 2 events at Busco Beach this year. One is at Mud Bash and one is at Fall Bash. The Mud Bash event, April 6th weekend, I think it is, that will not be a kids event weekend. That will not be a kids series event because if you've been to Mud Bash, you know that magnitude of the crowd is so wild that we want it to be safe for the kids. So we're going to get all that stuff finalized for the kids series, and we'll get that rolled out, and they will have their own calendar.
Great question right there, Miss Rogers. We are going to roll out a pre-registration offer for our racers. So basically, kind of like this, if you go ahead and sign up with us first race of the year, whenever you'd like to, that'll get you basically pre-registered with your waivers, your classes, and everything else. But for each event, we will let you pre-register and let you go ahead and prepay for the races.
Yeah, so we're going to have something kind of called like the racer pre-check, kind of like when you go to fly and you're like TSA pre-checked, we'll have a racer pre-check program. And if you're on the racer pre-check list, then you'll be able to pre-register for things.
Yeah, you just got to show up for the driver's meeting or have a representative there for the driver's meeting. You don't have to come in and register that morning. You just have to be there for the driver's meeting.
Yeah. Patty King said for Elton, yes. So each of our individual series events that we have on that calendar that are highlighted by green, every one of those events will have their own payouts for that race. So, if you win first, second, or third place in any of the classes that day, you will win cash money and a trophy. You will also be awarded points, which is in section 7 of the rules. You'll award points based on where you placed. So even if you got 4th place and you did not win any money that day, you still will receive your points, and those will follow through the series as well. So there are people who have podiumed and won money from the series total payouts at the end of the year who never even made it on the podium the entire year just because they were consistent with their racing and they won high enough and stayed with it. So they were able to win money at the end of the year and get a points place at the end of the year. Mike says, can one racer attend driver's meeting for the whole team?
As long as they are, if you're representing them, then you still have a vote per person that registered, but you basically that's your boat.
The machines have to be in the
Pit area.
And they have 3 minutes when their name's called.
Yeah. And they can't object to anything that you voted on their behalf.
Right. Okay. All right.
Let me see here. It is $100 for protest. That's right. Ashley, it's $100 to protest. And I really hope that everybody does pre-register, because we're trying to cut down on some of that confusion before the races and getting all those names in each block. So if we could get that for the racers and for our own sake, that would be great.
Yeah. I think that pre-registering, as I said, the Excel spreadsheet, the randomizing on there, pre-registering will allow your name to be on that spreadsheet before we even open the laptop that morning. It'll limit how many people have to stand in line. All of that will work favorably, I think, and it should shorten and expedite that whole process.
I ain't got that Drake money. Deep
yes,
Drake
it can. There's no tire size restriction on the
Honda classes do not have any tire size restrictions. It just has to be a Honda OEM motor, differentials. What's he saying?
He's saying make it 200 to protest.
Man, I'm telling you, they ain't got that Drake though. They ain't got that Drake though. Everybody ain't got that Drake though.
He said, "How far ahead is pre-registration going to be?" I don't know yet. I'll keep you posted. I got to work out all the logistics.
It's going to be before the event. Pre-register.
The reason we had never really done that, although a lot of other people do, is because, again, we just sort of, we just always try to be good to people and do right by them and be fair. And, sometimes people don't know if they're going to make it to the event.
What we had done was we had tried that in the past, and then people wanted to have their money back and couldn't make it, and we just didn't feel right about not giving them their money back. So we just said we'll make them register the day of. But honestly, it's getting so many runs and so much going on that it just would behoove everybody to try to do some pre-register for it. And I can say this: if you pre-register, but a lot of times what we're going to do is based on how much money is registered. So once you register, you won't be able to get a refund.
Well, also, we'll figure out exactly how that's going to work, the logistics of it. But like what we ran into when we tried it before was like people that just that day were saying, "Oh, I'm not going to make it," and then in the hustle and the bustle of the chaos of events, like I can't figure all that out and get you your money back and all that.
200 to protest. You're wrong.
Cool. All right. Yeah, we can't wait to see you, Patty. We're excited. I know there's a lot of excitement for us coming out there. They're gonna have a great year over there at Elton for sure.
And we're gonna do a lot of stuff this year. All kinds of different racing, drag racing, barrel racing, knockout racing, boogie bingo. The list goes on, guys. We've got more in 2025 than we've ever done before. The events that we're going to be putting on are going to be better than ever before, better staffed, more, planning, more logistics going into the events. And we hope you guys are looking forward to it. I think it's going to be a great year. Our sponsors are all super excited. And coming back for 2025, we're just very excited about it.
Brian, it's in section 7 for the points. So basically everyone gets points, period. Doesn't matter if there's, I hope we don't have 40 people in one class, but if we did, maybe I did hope it. I don't know. If we did, they would all get 20 points minimum. 1st through 6th get the staggered points. Yeah. And then everyone else gets 20. We used to do it where we started with 100 points and we went all the way down to 40 points and everybody got a minimum of 40.
People just ran away with it. We wanted it to be a little tighter.
Yeah. But what we saw after a couple of years was that it was a little bit too much of a difference. So that keeps it a little bit of a closer race. Thank you, Ron, for saying that.
Appreciate that, man.
We do appreciate it. Yeah,
we do. We put a lot of time, effort, and energy into this, and we do it just so that, you guys enjoy it, and we want it to be enjoyable. We want everybody to come and have a good time and enjoy, your fellow racers and your friends and your family together with us.
You know what, Mike? I kind of like that idea because I feel like, gosh, you you got to put your money where your mouth is to compete. And if you're protesting, well, sometimes I think people protest.
Well, the way we had
I don't
talked
know.
about doing it was $100 a protest, and if the
It was 50 goes. If
no, it was $100 to protest,
Mhm.
and then whoever, basically, if the racer that was protested against won the protest, then basically he would just continue to race, and then they would lose their $100.
right. So if Larry protested Sammy, and then Sammy's stuff was legit, then Larry's out the money. And then, we keep money because it's our time of having to go over there and deal with the drama, to be honest.
Right.
But what he's saying is up it and then give half of it to the person, give half of it to Sammy. Because if Sammy's stuff was right, Sammy had to be called out in front of everybody, then Sammy should get some money too. That's what he's saying.
The thing is it's got to be worth our time to go through the headache, or it's got to be worth someone's, $100. They feel that strongly about it.
Yeah.
All right.
We'll figure that out. We're going to add that rule in there. Okay. Let's see. Ashley said, yeah.
And everything else.
Yeah. Thank you, Katie and Stephen, for making all this happen. We're excited. We're very excited too. We're so excited. Let's see here.
I'll just say, everyone kids will ever find me
for all the media stuff.
Yeah, come and see us, man. We'll have all of our media people there, but we always like people that are going to talk about what we do at the events, Vito. So come and talk to me, and we'll give you a media pass, get you in there, and everything else. So
Julie said we need a South Carolina race. Yes, let me say this because I wanted to say that when we did the calendar, I put that up on the screen. I had a note to let you guys know that we are still working on adding more series events, more events. Actually, another event that's not a series event and some additional series events. We're working on that. Thankfully Busco let us get that second bounty hole and at Mud Bash. So we're really excited about that so that we can keep some a little bit closer to home, because for those of you that don't know, we're out of North Carolina. So we were excited that they did that. That wasn't the original plan going into the year. So I'm thankful for that, but it definitely made the schedule very front heavy as far as the dates and kind of the way that they fell. And that's why we have like an event and then 2 weeks later have an event and then 2 weeks later have an event. So that's just sort of the way that it shook out this year. But we're trying to add more on the back side of the schedule to extend it out a little bit more. I would say that I feel like when we get to 8 events, that's enough. But
for everybody,
we're still in talks with multiple. If we were to do an event with everybody that we're still in discussion with, we would have more than 8 events. I don't want to do more than 8 events. So it's just we're going to see how it pans out. We're still trying to figure some things out there. So what I can say is that they're going to be on the back end of the schedule. And that we're still working that out. So stay tuned. We will keep you posted.
No, BJ Johnson, and we've already voted that you have to wear a double tether. We have a double tether class. That's going to be BJ Johnson, Billy King. That's going to be Jacob Ray. We've got some explaining to do.
All right. Yeah, he said you should be, if you win the protest, you get the money. I mean, we've got to stop the race. We got to come over and do this. I mean, it's our time too. We'll talk about it. I'm not opposed to doing something where we split the money, and the person, we'll figure it out. We'll see. I know Braxton is running nitrous in the NA class is what this guy says. Rodney Newton.
I know Braxton running nitrous in the NA class. Rodney, show up and put your money where your mouth is and protest him. We'll tear that whole bike apart, and I'm sure he'll be the first one there with a wrench to prove it. I've never seen anything that he has done to cheat.
I will say that
I'll say that as honest as I can.
And anybody is welcome to do this. There have been people who get with Steve about their builds or what they want to do before they pull the trigger.
The next few days, I'm going to have all kinds of people messaging me about making sure their bikes are right for next year. And Braxton did that, and I'm sure he'll do that again this year.
Yeah. Okay. BJ Johnson, can I run nitro in my fuel in NA class?
Nitrous in your fuel.
Can I run nitro in my fuel?
Nah, I know if you find a way to put nitrous in your gas and make it a Q195 or something, you go for it, brother.
Yep. Okay.
We definitely.
Oh, he said, yeah, that's my dude. I give him heck. Okay.
Okay.
Well, gosh, some people really do believe it, though. So, Lord, you got to be careful what you say these days. They'll take it and run with it.
Well, I just want to give people a little bit of skin in the game when they want to protest. That's all. Because, I mean, it does take time. And to be quite honest with you, if you feel that strongly about it, then,
that's what they're talking about, nitromethane.
Nitromethane. Any fuel testing this year? I mean, I'll be honest with you. No, we haven't talked about doing any fuel testing because the NA class or the women's class is the only class that it would matter in. And I mean, that's about $1,000 we're giving away in that class. And I don't know how much fuel testing costs or even what it's about. But if it gets that technical, you guys, then we're gonna have a hell of a lot more money than $1,000 to give away in the class.
I don't know.
Tell Tony that red 90 was blowing up that compression. Yeah, well, I'll tell you, we've got a lot of different, I think, classes this year for everybody. Everybody has a chance to participate. Y'all, we've spent, I don't even know how many countless hours going back over these rules, trying to make sure that the rules were going to be the way that we wanted them to be and prevent any, things or any type of people wanting to come in and object the rules or the bikes in the classes written for the rules. So we wrote the rules best we could, and I hope that you guys really enjoy this year based on the rules. I think we've made it about as fair as we can, and it's really going to determine who the winners are going to be is the ones that put the most work into the builds, that put the most preparation into the races, that show up, look at the courses, that show up and race the rules, and also that pin it to win it. You got to hold it down. Racing is what it is. You got to come in there with some cojones, and even the ladies. I mean, it takes a lot of confidence, and you have to put it on the line. So this ain't anything other than what it is, and that's what it is.
All right. So question. So if my husband wants to run my ATV and I run the women's class, can I tape up my nitrous lines and leave the bottle?
By our rules, Lexi, you have to take the bottle off. So basically you'd have to remove the bottle, but yes, you definitely would want to tape up the lines and everything. And I know that might be extreme for some people, but we've had so many people object and say, no, they've got a hidden line running to the bottle from, a Coke can and everything else, that we've said, okay, well, the bottle has to be removed for any naturally aspirated class.
Yeah.
But absolutely, you can run the same ATV as he does. It's just you have to have the bottle off in a naturally aspirated class. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Our bikes run on moonshine, 180 proof.
Boy, I'll tell you what. Sometimes I think some of these people at these events are running on 180 proof.
Hey, get you a Honda. Get you a Honda.
Do a Polaris Sportsman class. I'll tell you guys, for real, man, we're just real proud to have the support of Vessel Power Sports and Baxley Off-Road to put in those classes. And without people stepping up in a big way like Super ATV, this isn't possible. But they're the ones that put up the money. They're the ones that support it. And so I say this all the time, but I mean it 100% through and through with all my heart. Support those that support us, because they're the ones that make this possible. The people that you see on that sponsor list, and they deserve your business for no other reason because they do this so much and put in so much.
Yeah, we will. You will, Lexi. We're going to figure out exactly how we're going to do all this. But
yes,
like, let's say, for example, we let the ladies go first, and then we do the small tire naturally aspirated after that, and then we do the small open in that. There will be time for you to get that back on.
We're going to take a lot of consideration into how we do the classes so that we don't cause a lot of stress on you guys, because I know it's already stressful. I know people are excited and anxious, and so we want to make sure that it's as good as experience as we can.
Yeah. All right. So yeah, Vestal's amazing. They're fantastic.
Yes.
All right. If you guys have any other questions, drop them down here real quick. I'm going to just briefly, this has turned into quite a lengthy live, but I appreciate you all sticking with us.
Yep.
And I think it'll be very informative for those that want to watch it back on their lunch break or
please share
whatever.
this if you have it. If you have anybody, please invite them to the event and make sure that they stay up on all the information, because we've got a lot of information that's going to come out in the next couple of weeks.
Yes. And we'll get over the next week, I'll get all of our events, like the Facebook events made, so that you guys can click going to all of those. That's a great way, because there's so much information that we release and so many different events, especially with several of them very close together on the calendar. That's the best way to get the updates about those individual events. So one rule that I took out of there that I didn't talk about because I took it out, one rule we removed, is the registration time. Because we're still working out our timeline on how that is going to look with doing the kids in the morning, and then, gauging. And then obviously some of the events, like for example, the first event of the year, it gets darker a little bit earlier. So we may adjust our plans and schedule for that day.
Saving time.
Yeah. So, and then the second event at the graveyard, that's quite a lengthy day. If you've run the graveyard course, you know that there's no way for us to run more than one person at a time. So that we're going to have to get creative, or might dig another, I don't know. We're going to figure that out and keep you updated. But so that time may be different at the different events. So it is very important that you
Thank you,
that you pay attention to those individual events, because that's where those schedules are going to be posted, and you'll be easily able to find all that information.
Matt was asking if someone wanted to put some money into the series or in one of the classes.
Just message us, and we'll definitely figure that out. Like I said, we need, message us, and we'll talk exactly about where you want that money to go, what your goals are, and how we can work something out.
How we can help promote your business or whatever in exchange. Then, we'd be happy to talk with anybody about how we can do that for you.
Okay, let's see.
All right, so basically, as long as it's a naturally aspirated, so a turbo would be something that would be an air induction system, so that wouldn't be able to run in any naturally aspirated class, but that'll be able to run in any of the open classes, the medium tire, the unlimited tire, anything like that. So anything that has a turbo, a supercharger, nitrous, NOS, whatever some people call it, but those things will not be allowed in anything that's a naturally aspirated class.
Patty, I have not released the entry fees on that. We did touch on that earlier. Last year, what we did was it was $20 for the kids race per run. The small tire was $40 per run. The medium tire was $80 per run, and the unlimited was $120 per run. And the reason for that is it's kind of staggered as it goes up because the payouts go up. It's going to be something very close to similar to that if it's not the same. Those are going to be probably right around the same thing.
That's
but
right, guys.
but I don't want to put it out there and totally 100% commit, because we're still figuring out how the other classes, like the women's class and the Honda classes, are all that's going to factor in.
And something we do factor in is what the payouts are. So we've got to wait and see how much our payouts are, and then obviously we'll let everybody know what the buy-ins are based on the correlation for that.
Right, because we don't totally know where we're topping out at, and we don't even have the payout breakdown, and until we have that, I just don't feel comfortable assigning a entry fee, because we try to be fair about it. Okay. And she said it's past your bedtime, Lexi. So for the kids, are you talking about for the kids series, the separate kids series? Is that what you're referring to? Let's try to race
13 and under is what it was last year. If you were asking about the kids range,
yes,
it's definitely getting past my bedtime.
For the kids event, it was 13 and under. You have to be 13 by the first date of the series. So if the first race is going to be on March 8th, so as long as you're 13 on March 8th, then you're eligible for the year. Even if you turn 14 in April, you can still race for the entirety of the year, kind of like 12U, any other sports that they do. That's totally fine. The mini mutters class, it was 8 and under, and the same thing applies. You have to be 8 o'clock. It's past my bedtime too. You have to be 8 years old or under on March 1st. And Oh yeah, he's fine then. He's totally fine. Bentley's 4. Yeah, so we're good. I don't need a birth certificate or anything to prove that. I'm pretty sure I'll be able to tell he's 4. So yeah, so that's for the kids, and we're gonna get all the information about the kids out soon too. We still got to figure that part out.
Yeah.
Okay. And then was there any other questions here?
Let me say this too, because this has been something people have asked me behind the scenes. So the drag racing rules that we put out last year, the hill climb rules that we put out at the last event, all those rules will be what we use again for the next events coming up this year. So if you have any questions about how to prep for those type of competitions, then definitely refer back to the 2024 rules. And as we come up into 2025 and we have drag racing at events, or we have hill climbing, or we have different things, then we'll make sure that those rules are out in time.
Right. Like I know, for example, and we're still figuring out, I know lots of you asked, like, where are you going to do drag racing? Where are you going to do this? Where are you going to do that? We're still figuring all that out. Like we've got the base of stuff planned and, and agreed to, but we do have to add on and kind of decide what else is being done at each event. Like I can tell you for Elton Road, we are doing, there's going to be doing drag racing, but the drag racing is actually going to be done by the park. So, we'll confirm with you how those classes are going to be and exactly what all that's going to look like as we get closer to it. And again, that's why you want to be tuned in and click going on those individual events, because you'll be able to get all those updates and reference all of that information for that particular weekend there in those places. Yeah. Can we run nitrous on the what is that, KO?
Let me see what you got. Can we run nitrous on the KO?
I don't even know what a KO is.
Maybe the kids. I don't know.
I don't know what a KO is.
Right. There's no kids classes will have anything like that. All the kids classes are naturally aspirated gray.
Yep.
That's what you were saying.
That's what Ron said. Let's try and race during daylight hours, no breaks, Stephen.
Well, I'll tell you what, that we did pretty good this year. I ain't gonna lie. We really had some races with a lot of runs, and we were able to pull it off. And I mean, pull it off by the skin of our teeth. But I mean,
I'm gonna do this right here for those last 2 events that I didn't have John.
Y'all, I'm telling y'all, when Jonathan Linkus and some of our other staff members couldn't make it to the last couple of events, we had some people really step up and help us out. And, it means the world to us to have people helping us out, because we do this, basically just for the love of it. And really the people that we do it for are the people that race with us. And so we appreciate y'all. I
will say at Grand River, I don't know if you remember Ron Drake, at Grand River, we didn't take a single break. We had the timer issue at the first part.
We got a staff member got ran over. We kept right on racing.
But we did. She's like, I got hit by a hit. Somebody ran into me. We kept it going. But the only break we took was about 10 or 15 minutes one time for me, because I got overheated and I had to
go get an IV bag.
Yo, I literally, when I tell you that I have never sat on a porta-john in my life, like I sat on there in the porta-john pouring water bottles down. Yes, it was just, I was hot. I was overheated and we had to get back on, but we kept it rolling. So,
what's going on, Jamie? Yeah, man, we appreciate your help. We were just saying we had some awesome people helping us at events, man. You were
yes.
Jamie stepped up at Top Trails and helped us out, and we had a great time at Top Trails with you guys.
Yes, it was so fun. So
we still love y'all too, Ron.
We got some really, all right, let me
still waiting for my Christmas present.
Yeah, we did. We had to pick up the slack for you. It's okay. I got you, John. I got you. Don't worry.
Everybody that picked up the slack.
I'm gonna cash in on that this year. Don't worry.
John.
So John was like, hey, so can we talk about like my annual review and if I'm up for a raise? And I said, well, you're only at 50% of the
we usually send Christmas bonuses, but you didn't make the minimum requirement events this year, John.
We're going to attribute that to 2 hurricanes and an appendix that almost cost John his life.
We're gonna you only earned a hat with no patch on it this year.
All right. So let me talk real quick about these last, the last thing I had on my list, which I just wanted to talk about these next couple of events. We're going to get the information out over the next week about what the schedule is going to be for the Boggs event. Right now, what we're talking about is, and I want to say, if you want a camper, not a camper, a
Campsite,
cabin, or a 30 amp or a 50 amp, you need to call Boggs and talk to Terry
immediately,
like tomorrow.
They said they were booking those things so fast, and they just opened the booking yesterday. And so I don't know how many they got left, but I would call immediately if you wanted to get your spot at Boggs. Dry camping, they've got unbelievable dry camping for everybody. If you come in, you don't need anything from the park. They've got a great camping facility. They got showers. They've got restaurant on site. We're going to have vendors. I think we're going to have more vendors at that event than we've probably ever had at any event other than probably Mud Bash.
Yeah, we're so excited and thankful that they're going to let us come and do that. They haven't done, they've done the bounty course, but they haven't done a bounty hole there in a few years. And so, so we're like, I'm honored that they're letting us come back or letting us come there and do it. And we're really, really excited. We've been talking to
the guy to be there with them. It's been really a great partnership already with Boggs and the staff that they have there. Just, we fit together like peas and carrots. So we're excited. We're going to put a great event on. And BJ Johnson, we are not going to be doing any CMR style racing for Mud Bash this year. We're going to do the bounty holes. Last year, there were so many people that wanted a bounty hole, that asked about the bounty hole, that thought there was a bounty hole, that there wasn't a bounty hole, and then there was a bounty hole, and there wasn't a bounty hole. And man, bounty hole,
bringing you the bounty hole.
They wore out the bounty hole last year, and there wasn't even a bounty hole. So they brought it back. So, I mean, really a big shout out to Busco Beach putting in for 2025, allowing King of the Deep to do 2 series events there, keeping it in the Carolinas, keeping it at home.
Down.
And really, we are just so fortunate to have good partners like Busco Beach and so many other parks that we're working with this year.
Yeah. So, I mean, I like the round track race. I do think it's a good time, but there truly hasn't been a ton of people participating when you compare that to like the bounty holes. And so, and like you said, they wanted the bounty hole. So we're giving you what you want. We're giving the people what they want, the bounty hole. Okay. So the Boggs event, call the office, the number that's on Facebook, the number that's on Google, ask for Terry, and she'll take care of the reservations for you for the RV hookups and the cabins if you want one of those. We are going to be doing, it's a Thursday through Sunday event, and there's going to be like a weekend long scavenger hunt with some cool prizes with Super ATV and stuff. Then we're going to have.
I know how them prizes for them scavenger hunts are, boy. We got some good prizes.
Yeah. We gave stuff, some whips and
we gave a winch, a whip.
Yeah.
Super ATV just always steps up, hooks us up with some good scavenger hunt stuff. All of our sponsors throw in, and so that's always fun. The scavenger hunt, super easy. You do it on your phone. You come in. You have the whole weekend until Saturday, and then get it in.
Yeah. And if you haven't been to like Boggs before,
hey, we're not bringing that up. McKeever Del Camping. I'm not talking to you about that.
If you haven't been to Boggs, like I think it's worth coming in early and getting some riding in, because like if you're here from the Carolinas and you're familiar with Busco, I've heard Boggs is like the Busco of down in that area. Like as far as just like being the park, like I mean,
ooh, bro, I ate Skyline in the last 2 days. They ain't even lie. Y'all jealous.
Anyways, so Thursday will be the day that they open the gates. We're going to have a scavenger hunt going from Thursday to Saturday evening. We'll do like a big group ride or some sort of like thing for Thursday night for anybody who's there. Friday, we're going to have a competition. I'm not positive exactly what it's going to be yet. We have a couple of ideas. I don't want to tell you the wrong thing, but we're going to do a competition
it's going to be one or the other.
That's right. Yep. Or both. Honestly, we talked about
it. Might be one or the other or both. We don't know yet.
So stay tuned.
We're not going to tell you what either one of them are.
Not now.
Not now.
And then Saturday,
cliffhanger.
Friday night, we'll do like the Boogie Bingo. They've got a cool pavilion. We'll do that. So everybody will just hang out, socialize, just have a good time.
Boggs is a great social park. They've got some really good spots to hang out.
Yep.
You're not sorry at all.
Saturday will be the bounty hole, and then Saturday night we'll do like a big bonfire. So that's kind of like the rough draft of the weekend for Boggs. It's going to be a lot of fun. I'm really excited about the vibe down there.
So Thursday's going to be hanging out, having a good time, scavenger hunt, group ride. So come on in, hang out with us. Thursday's going to be laid back and chill. Friday, we're going racing. We're not going to tell you what kind of racing yet we're going to do, but it's going to be some good racing. It's going to be some good fun. It's going to be for everybody that racing Friday night. Doesn't matter what you have. Doesn't matter what you got to ride. Then you'll be able to participate in the racing Friday night. And then everybody loves something to hang out and have fun to do. We've got Boogie Bingo Friday night, and Boogie Bingo consists of us playing music, giving you a bingo card, and each block has its own song that goes along with it. And you listen along to the song, and you mark them off on your bingo card as your songs are played. And the winner wins all kinds of cool stuff. So we've got all kinds of stuff for everybody to do. And then Saturday, we go racing, starting out 2025 at Boggs and Boulders. And we're going to finish out Saturday night hanging out with everybody at the bonfire. So that's going to be a great weekend. All the information as it comes out and more details. So make sure you're following the event page.
Then the very next weekend, we are taking it from Boggs, Alabama to Top Trails at Alabama, which is, I think, like maybe 4 hours away, 3 or 4 hours away.
Back to back, we are all over Alabama.
That Top Trails weekend, that is not a series event. It's actually the Ride for Autism Awareness, and so it is a benefit ride. So if you feel like just staying in Alabama that whole week, come out and hang out with us. Or if you're local in the area, come see us. That weekend, we are going to do, it's not going to be part of the series, and it may not be the same classes, but there is going to be a kids bounty hole that weekend. But it will not be a points bounty hole.
For kids only. Make sure we're clear on that. Yeah. It'll only be for kids, and that'll be a 13-year and under bounty hole only for kids at that Top Trails event. So make sure you are prepared for that.
They've got the 6'9" boys are coming.
Yeah.
They're going to do a hill climb. And so we'll get you the information for the payouts for the hill climb. That is so much fun. If you want to see what we're talking about, look at any of our recent reels. Those are from the New Year's event of the machines just trying to climb up the side of the mountain. And it is amazing and entertaining. And it's so cool to watch. It's really so cool to watch. We only had a couple of people flip, but you kind of expect it because, it was amazing. I loved it.
And we are going to be putting on some really awesome, versed, a lot of variety of competitions and racing. So let's
go racing with one or the other.
Yeah, that's it. I'm telling you right now, we are going to have a good time. So we're excited about it. We've got a lot of other stuff we could talk about.
Yep. And then after Top Trails, the very next weekend, which is 2 weeks after Boggs, we're heading down to Florida, just across the line there at Jasper, Florida. And we're doing the series event there for the Bounty Challenge course. We've been there the last 2 years, and it is not the traditional bounty hole. It's totally different. If you don't know, ask somebody about it, but it is so much fun. And it's interesting because it's similar to like what Chad Gilgan is doing at the Savage Trails.
It is. It's very much, it's not heads up. So don't let me confuse anybody, but the way the layout of the track is, the amount of space that these racers get to race, the turns, the hills, the holes.
It's so fun.
It is a true testament to a racer's attrition and the well-built machines that make through those, the graveyard and the bounty course down there, Bounty Challenge. But the graveyard event is a very unique place, very unique event. And we are very, very much looking forward to going back there again.
Yeah, I'm excited about that. And Kyle, exactly what you said is the reason why, aside from the park being a really fun park, love the owners, love the staff, love the people that are down there that are not racers that just live in the area, the locals. Like when we come, they are so excited.
The people are awesome.
They are excited to see us, y'all. I love that park. I love the vibe and the people.
That's why we keep coming back.
Aside from all that, the racers, there's so many people, at least 4 or 5 or 6 that have told me that has been their favorite event.
Got to keep going back to the graveyard every year, we're told.
Yeah.
So we're doing it.
And I love that the style of it kind of levels the playing field a little bit. Yeah. And like Steve said, it showcases, the different parts of the machine and stuff. And I'm
going to be down there for an entire week at the graveyard getting that ready. So it's going to be a good race down there for that event.
So that's what we got. I'll have, this is just a placeholder photo. We'll have the official flyer for you guys here, hopefully in the next few days. And yeah.
Thank y'all.
That's
Like
what we
and
got.
share. Make sure you please like and follow all of our social media. Our social media has grown leaps and bounds in the last year. Big shout out to our social media team that works so hard behind the scenes. Rick Merckx. I can't say his government name, but Rick Merckx. and of course,
yes.
David Martin. I mean, without those two guys, Katie would have to do this on her own, and I would still be scribbling notes on paper. But they make us look good, and they make you guys look good. We hope you guys appreciate how much effort and consistency that we have put into our social media and putting out runs and keeping everybody up to date. So a big shout out to those guys and all of our staff for 2024. That the guys that could be there, the guys that couldn't be there, the people who stepped in at the events, and everybody that stepped up to help us at every event. Anyway, we appreciate it because we couldn't do this without the big family and community that pulls us off.
Yep.
You heard it here first.
Sorry, my phone was buzzing, and I was like, yeah. So we are excited, you guys. We can't wait to get to this first event. There's going to be a lot of information rolling out. As we said, we've got payouts to give you guys, entry money to, fees to give you guys. We've got sponsors to present to you. We've got the kids' information to roll out. We've got something we're working on at Top Trails that might be something that's kind of like maybe sort of really cool.
Yeah, but hey, vendors and sponsors, if you would like to be a vendor, people, if you would like to be a part of the event as a sponsor, then please let us know. We can take care of that in any way, shape, form, or fashion, no matter how small, no matter how big, it all matters.
Yep.
So we appreciate it.
And what else do we have? Oh, the racer pre-check stuff. We've got to roll that out for you guys. We've got to tell you about our new process for helping you guys line up and stay on track for where you're at with your runs.
I've got a great system that we're going to try to put in place for our pit area, our pre-staging area, and our starting line area to help everybody know when to line up. I'm not going to say too much about it now because I want it to be something that we all roll out and we explain it. Yeah, we explain it in detail.
Yep. All right. Well, I think that's what we've got for you guys tonight. That was a lot of information, a lot of great questions. This is the longest live we've ever done.
But hey, we appreciate y'all sticking with us. We've had well over 25, 30 and upwards of 50 people up here sometimes, and that's awesome. And we appreciate the enthusiasm. It means so much to see so many people excited about it.
Yep. We are happy to be back for you guys this year. Big shout out to Super ATV and to all of the other sponsors that have already, verbally, and some of them have signed on. We're going to start dropping you guys and introducing you here very soon. We appreciate your support. We're excited to bring everything back bigger and better for you guys in 2025. And it just keeps getting better. We got more to give you, more to release.
Yep, bigger and better 2025, and we couldn't do it without everybody's support. So thank you.
I get bigger and better every year too.
Yeah, I get bigger and better, that's for sure.
All right, y'all. Thanks for hanging out with us tonight. We will tune in with you soon in the next week or two and give you some more updates about everything. But other than that, I hope you guys all have a great night.
Yeah, thank y'all. Be safe, and we'll see y'all soon.
Thank you.